camera today, so maybe that's
No
why I'm not
worries.
getting in. Yep.
You can hear us?
I can.
Awesome. Can you hear Tara?
Yeah.
Tara's not talking, so I can hear her.
Yeah.
Edward, where are you?
Yeah.
Right here.
No,
There he is.
are you home or I thought you were traveling?
I am. I made it back from dinner and I'm in the hotel at 7:02. So I
All right.
Where are you traveling?
New Hampshire.
Oh, you're a brave soul. Actually went to a hotel.
Yeah, we made reservations at another hotel, but we found out that was a hot spot, so we had to stay at a very smaller hotel. So that's where we are now.
Very cool. You on vacation?
No, just work stuff.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Good seeing you again.
Seeing you. Debbie was trying to log on, so she may jump on here in a minute.
It's telling me that people are trying to get. Oh, here they are. Okay.
I can see.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. In the chat on the side, I put in a link to the reading group guide for the book in case we feel like going through some questions. And I put a link to the Facebook group where I posted the poll. I know a few, I think Debbie and I think my mom already voted. But I put the poll this morning for next month's book. So if you guys want to if you want to vote, try to vote before tomorrow night because I want to post it Saturday morning.
Got it.
Will do.
So that's
Hi,
all.
Edward.
Mm-hmm. You said you put that in the chat box? I don't see the chat box there. Isn't it a Zoom group chat?
Yeah. It says me
Hold
to
on, let me
everyone.
see here.
Oh, let me see.
Uh,
Let me try again.
to everyone.
Oh, geez, what did it just do? It is so glitchy lately. All right, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, let me post something here and
Yeah, see if it works.
see if it works. Where is this thing? Chat.
Oh, I see something.
Do
Oh, I see the reading guide.
you?
good.
Yeah.
I'm missing it. Oh, there it is. Okay, yep. And I just put, hi, everyone. Reading guide, poll. That's cool. All right.
Well, should we wait or we don't have some of the people who said they were going to be there, but we do have people who aren't on the Facebook list. So I think we have as many as we expected. So I don't know.
Just go.
I don't know how to, do I have to be the leader?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you are a leader.
Yes.
I don't think the person who hates the book should be the leader.
Well, tell us why you hate the book. Yeah. Tell us why you hate the book.
Want to know why I hate it? I mean,
Yeah.
besides the fact that it obviously wasn't edited. All right, obviously I read as an editor, right? That's the thing. I read and I can't turn that off. And this book, I mean, unlike a lot of books these days, it didn't have a lot of typos. So I'll give them that. They did send it to a proofreader. But I'm sorry, you can't suddenly on 81 pages in, here are my notes, 81 pages in, you can't suddenly decide to start writing from a different point of view. You know, you gotta pick one and stick with it. Or if you want to tell it from multiple point of views, you have to do it consistently every other chapter or in a set, some sort of pattern that we can recognize. You can't just randomly, and it's like
I did notice that.
randomly on page 81, we come in, I can't read my own handwriting. We come in with somebody's, jump in, suddenly it's his point of view out of nowhere. And then on page 98, then suddenly we're in Tate's head, where that came from. It's just, any editor would have caught that and said, hey, we can't have that. You either need to tell it from this point of view. You can't just be jumping around in different people's heads when it's not omniscient narration, which it's not. So it made me crazy. It just made me crazy.
I'm wondering, of everyone on the phone call, how many are writers?
Not
I know
here.
Ed, you and I are.
Nope.
Not me.
You're not? No.
I mean, technically, sort of, I am, but
Yeah, you are. What about you, Mo?
No, no,
Most of-
no.
You're not. Okay.
I just read.
See, the reason I'm asking that is because I'm a writer. I wonder, 'cause I noticed those things too, Tara, but I wonder if you're not like a writer, if you even notice those things.
Well,
It's
did you
just-
like it, Jim?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I thought it moves you along as a reader. Engaging some of the descriptions were quite beautiful. I don't think it was like a real deep book, but I thought it was clever the way that she did the and I'm always looking at, because I'm a writer, I'm looking at structure, the way that she juxtaposed, the different time frames, and she early on gave us the murder very quickly, so that of course grabs you and propels the narrative forward. So I'm like always learning from things like this, and I found that interesting. I definitely get what you're talking about. I just wonder if it really, I mean, it's sold over 1 million copies or 5 million copies. Does it really bother anyone? Do they even notice that they're jumping into another?
well, that's the problem. I think that's the problem. People aren't noticing, and the fact that they're not noticing shows how much these publishers think we're morons. They don't think we're going to notice, and so they don't fix the problems. And I think that's what's wrong with publishing these days. They think we're such idiots that they said, "Huh, you know what? It's good enough. America will love it," and that's crap. Sorry, that's crap. It's,
Debbie, why
why did
did
you
you like
it's
it?
not good enough for us. We're smarter than that, and we need to say, "Hey, yes, it's a nice story, and this could be a great book," but they screwed it up by not finishing the development.
Okay.
That's my point. It could have been a great book, but instead they made it a mediocre to lousy book.
What would have made it a great book? I'm
Edited.
curious.
What?
What would have made it a really great book?
Tell you what a great book is, or you want me to tell you how to
No,
fix it?
yeah, I'm just curious. What do you think would have made it?
I don't
I
think
think-
there's anything in that story that could have made it a good book.
No? Okay,
I
can you
don't
tell
think
us?
there's I don't think there's anything that could have made it
Okay,
great.
even I won't take it that far.
No, I don't think there was anything that if this was good, if this could have been great. I thought the whole thing was crap. Now, Debbie, you liked it.
Yeah, I did like it.
What did you like
Why do you
about
like it? Yeah.
I like the story. I like the intrigue of it. I didn't notice the things that Tara's noticing, so I guess I'm a moron.
No, it's not that. It's that most people won't notice it, but those of us who actually craft books, if we're not noticing it, that there's something wrong. You know?
Yeah, so you're saying it bothers you because in the production of publishing, it should have been fixed.
It's right.
So that's okay.
There's no
Sorry.
way this should have made
I
it through. This shouldn't have made it through draft 1 without the editor saying, "Huh, you know what? There's a lot of point of view issues. There's big plot holes that don't make any sense. Let's just fix this. It's easy. These are easy fixes." I'm
So
not
it
saying
bothers you the laziness of the publisher, not the laziness of the author.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think the author obviously was lazy to create those problems to begin with, but that's not the author's problem. The author's is supposed to just come up with the story, and I think it's an interesting story, and I read it quickly. I thought it was compelling. It's just I couldn't stop. I think if I could just read like a reader, like a normal person, I probably wouldn't be so critical. But I'm reading this as if this were submitted to us, and I'd say, "Oh my God, I would never let this would not have been approved for the second draft, much less printed and sent out for millions of copies." I don't know.
So I get it. So your anger, see, my anger is towards the author, and your anger is towards the industry that didn't fix it.
My anger is toward the editor, who is named in this book as if she did a good job.
Where's the editor's name?
Her name is Tara, and that makes me even
Where is
madder.
that? Is that in the back?
I think it's
Oh,
in
there
the-
it is. Tara Singh.
Yeah, Tara Singh Carlson, who really needs to be fired from her job. No, I have no problem with the author. I think she came up with, it's Is it a little far-fetched? Yes. But I think that there's a potential, I think it's a potentially great book, but I think it was not developed. That's
All right, so let me ask you this. So it obviously sold well. I mean, people love this.
Yeah.
What is it about it that people jumped on? Is it the is it the Mockingbird connection? Is it the Southern connection? Is it the evil men out there that women need to stand up for? Is it just a mixture of all these? What is it that people just I mean, this has an enormous following. Why?
I'll chime in
Yeah.
because I like the book. I'm sorry you can't see me, but anyway, I liked the simpleness of the story as far as I like books from the South, so that's what drew me to. And so I sort of more fell in. Be careful. I'll be careful. I won't say fall in love. What I really liked was the description of the marsh and the beaches, and the visual of that aspect of it. I did struggle, even though I liked the book. I liked the book because it was a simple read. It's not complicated, but I did struggle when she was a 7-year-old little girl.
Right.
Creating, trying to keep herself afloat with food and money, and so I struggled with stuff like that during the book. And again, at the end, everybody's read the whole thing all the way through, so I did scratch my head at the end and said, how did she get, like they said in the court trial, how did she get all the way from wherever she was back to town and back again? I didn't get that at all. I didn't understand how she could do that, but I did like the book. Sorry, Everett.
No, not at all. Debbie, what did you like about it, Debbie Jean?
I liked the same thing she did, really. I thought the ending was kind of weird. But again, how logistically did she get from, coming back on the bus, getting across the marsh, killing the guy, and getting back on the bus? That was a little bit far-fetched for sure.
Yeah.
I liked this. And I think what was the other thing we were talking about, how nobody, here's this kid alone in the woods, and like nobody made her go to school. I know they tried to catch her and everything like that, but nobody made her, like, why wasn't she forced? Wasn't she taken away from that situation? That seemed a little far-fetched to me.
Did anybody else have a problem with the fact that as it came to light later in the novel, the mother, like when she went away, was living with her family and they were rich? And I mean, yeah, okay, they threw in that she was depressed, but they knew this kid was alone in the marsh,
Right.
Yeah.
knew completely about it, were rich, had plenty of resources. Nobody ever went just to look for her and make sure she's okay. I mean, that just kind of, I found that a little hard to believe. And like, I mean, what kind of mother?
The brother too. The brother didn't come back for how long? How many years? All of a sudden, he just came back.
And that's just okay, cool. It just,
and every time you have one of those logistic things, it stops you. So
right.
when you get the 8-year-old that jumps into the boat and pulls the motor, starts it,
I can't do it.
When that happens, I'm going, wait a minute. Little things like that just stop you, but those are logistical things. I think the thing that bothered me was, and this is going to sound cruel, there was nobody I cared about in this thing. I didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about her. I didn't care about the kids. There was nobody that I said, hey, I want to go spend, an hour with this character, because they were all two-dimensional. There's nobody
What
I
about
liked.
Kate?
No.
Didn't like Kate? No.
No, there's nobody I connected to. There was nobody I worried about. There was nobody that I hope this doesn't happen. I hope they're okay. Or I wish I was more like them. Every single one was a two-dimensional character that I really didn't care about.
What recent book have you read if there's one that comes to mind, Everett, that where you have had a character you really care
All right,
about.
I'll give you a perfect example, and Tara's so sick of hearing this. I am listening for probably not exaggerating the 12th time of 11/22/63, only because I go through withdrawal from the characters and I need them again. All the characters in it are so
I don't know
incredibly.
that. I don't know
vivid.
that. What is it called?
It's a Stephen King, but it's 11/22/63, and it's probably one of my favorite novels and not because of the storyline, but because of all the characters are so well developed. And you get to the end and you go through withdrawal and you have to start it again because you're feeling a gap without them.
And what's
And
it called
that's-
again?
It's the number, it's the date.
Here, I'll put it in
11/22/63.
11/22/63, right? I'm
Yeah.
Oh, there
typing
it is. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I never heard of that one.
And that's
He's an
I mean,
amazing
it's-
writer.
and that is because the story's compelling, but those characters, they're all so different and they're so real. And the ones after it, you're going through withdrawal. You have to start all over again because you can't think of going on without them. And that's incredible. And I didn't see any of that here. And I know it's not fair to take something like this and compare it to, but there was no one in. If you would change this novel and had the outcome differently and picked this character and have something bad, I really wouldn't have argued with you. It just didn't. It wouldn't have affected me.
What do you think though? Why has it sold 5 million copies? So what do you
Great.
think is appealing about this book? And actually, this is something I guess I'd ask you as well, Tara. I mean, why? What is it? What do you think it says that this has sold 5 million? What are people looking for?
I mean, it would be interesting to pull out. It's probably a combination of several things. Is it the South thing? Are people fascinated with that? Is it the fact that it is a female protagonist that is abused by men and fights back? Is that part of it? Because that's definitely a key involved in this. Is it the women? The woman being perceived as stupid, proving it. I mean, you could probably come up with half a dozen themes, and it'd be very interesting to know which is the one that really sold it.
I don't think it has anything to do with the book itself or anything in the book. I think it has to do with the fact that a Big Five publisher and Reese's Book Club, a Big Five publisher paid Reese's Book Club to take this as their selection, and that's what sells books these days.
They paid
Celebrities.
A celebrity to champion it, and it could be complete garbage. I mean, how many crappy books did Oprah's book club, make bestsellers? And now Reese's Book Club is the new thing. And I'm not saying it's crappy. I'm just saying that, but I'm saying that putting that sticker or label on the book, it's going to sell millions of copies just because a celebrity has endorsed it. I mean,
But even they, though, the publisher, because they, all these books they publish every year, they decided to take this one to Reese's Book Club or whatever and saw the potential, and it sold 5 million copies. So clearly, there was some formula here that they saw. I'm just curious because in the end, publishing is a business, and you got to look at that as well, right?
Yeah. What is it that they saw in this that made their investment more sound?
That's
good.
I think it has a lot to do with I think, like you were saying, the woman standing up for herself, because this comes in the wake of the whole Me Too movement.
Right.
And so I think that's right there a big seller. I think things about the South, for some reason, people really find it very romantic and whatever. I think things like that tend to, and this one isn't like the traditional, like Faulkner, like Southern Gothic. It's not hard. You know what I mean? So you get that the pretty imagery of the marsh, which is, and I admit, I think that was very nice. But so you get like the good stuff without that, overwhelming, hard to read Southern Gothic traditional stuff. You know what I mean? So you're kind of getting, it's kind of like Southern book light. You know what I mean? Like Southern book for, if you don't want to kill yourself, looking at the dictionary every 3 minutes, this is for you. You're going to get the good parts without the slogging, horrible, Faulkner type stuff. So I think it's just, that's what it is. It has elements that appeal to a lot of different people. And
Yeah.
it came at the right time too. I mean, you know?
I think something that I think what I think the nature of writing something I didn't realize I was reading about her. This is her first novel, and she actually she's a wildlife scientist in Africa. I mean, she has a BS in zoology. This is really interesting.
You know
Explains a
what's
lot to me.
but what's interesting about that too is Debbie Beta read I can't remember which one it was, but there is something interesting about this where you get to the point where the author basically is saying, let me tell you how stupid you are because I know this and you don't. And it stopped being a novelette part and became a classroom. And I felt like I was
There was a little bit of that. I did sense that. Yeah.
Where you're
Yeah.
dragging me into this. And I didn't sign up for this classroom. I'm not interested in this subject. I want to hear the story, but you dragged me in and forced me to sit through this classroom. And that bothered me a little bit too.
Yeah, there was definitely some of that. It became exposition, you know. But she didn't linger too long on that before she got back to the narrative. What do you think? What are the things that you like about the book, or did anything bother you about the book?
I'm trying to think if anything really bothered me other than the few things that I had mentioned, and you know, again, also with I had a really hard time when the whole family was leaving her.
Mm.
You know, it was I think it was the two sisters, then it was the brother and the father, and everybody just left a child behind. I mean, even in the backwoods of North Carolina, you know, in 1962, 1969, is the wrong thing to do. You know, I had trouble with that. I like stories, so yeah, somewhere that I got caught up in. I get emails from I think it's called Goodreads, and I think I that one time clicked on for like young adults. So a lot of times I get books that come through, and I'll say, oh, and they say, oh, this is good, blah, blah, and I'll read it, and I'm like, I think this is for a teenager. You know, it had no real spice or depth to it. But Everett, you were saying before about books that you liked. I don't know, maybe you wouldn't like these, but I had read years ago from Elena Ferrante, the Neapolitan novels. She's an Italian writer, and you had said about missing the characters after you finished the book. Every time I finished, there were 4, and every time I finished one of them, I yearned to get the next one. And so within a short period of time, maybe about 6 months, I read all 4 of them. And I missed these characters when they were gone. And lo and behold, what happened is that they made a series out of it on HBO. And I don't have HBO, but I got it just to watch them. So I know what you mean by that. And this was one of the first times that they had the series was as good as the book.
Yeah.
You never find that. You never find. Very, very rarely, I feel.
And you know what's interesting about that, and it ties in with what Tara said, is it seems that I had that 8 times out of 10 when I read a novel, I went through that. I went through withdrawal. I'd finish it and just go through this pain of them going on without me, and now it's rare. So it's either I've changed or the publishing industry has just changed, and hoping that we didn't notice.
Yeah.
Are they some of the same authors that you no longer have that feeling for? Or?
No, I was all over the place, but it just seemed
Okay.
that it seemed that if you could get me into the first chapter or 2, there was an 8 out of 10 chance that by the time I'm done, I'm with you and I'm exhausted, and I went through all this with you, and now I feel alone because it's over, and I rarely feel that anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it could just be me. I could be more calloused, but
I feel the same way. I very rarely read anything these days. Like it's something that's new. You know what I mean? Like obviously I read a lot. I go to the library a lot. Probably I'm the only one, according to the librarian. I'm one of the only ones. That it's just, you know, like so I read a lot of old stuff that, you know, I just didn't get to. That's 10, 20, whatever years old. But
Uh,
so I still get it now and then, but the new stuff almost never.
Yeah.
huh.
And even if I like the book, it's very rare that I end up caring about the characters or even feeling like they were developed as characters. You know what I mean? I don't ever very rarely feel like they feel like real people.
Right.
I wonder how much of this she had figured out herself, the structure, or how much of it was she got help from her editor, because this is her first novel. Still, I mean, there's some things here I really admire about it, I must say. I mean, the way that she was able to move it back and forth between the years, and it's apparent to you where you're at. I mean, you can say, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, Tara, like this, or this is clearly.
I just don't know why it wasn't done consistently. Like, I think
Yeah.
I think it can be a very good technique to go back and forth between the times. But
Yeah.
if they had done it, say, every other chapter or every 5 chapters, then throw in one about the murder. Just if there was some sort of consistency, but it would just be so random, and you really had to be paying attention because I felt like it wasn't well enough developed. The voice, I felt like there was no voice. It was just kind of
Right.
thrown at you, and with the point of views jumping around, and sometimes we're in this one's head, and it just didn't make any sense. So it just, you really had to try to struggle to pay attention to that. At least I did, but now I lost my train of thought.
Well, what's some evidence that, it could be the modern publishing is I just recently reread Treasure Island, and I forgot how good that is. When you forgot how good that is, it is just tight. There's real characters. It's just, it's an incredible novel. And you think it's something you're forced to read as a kid, and you forgot, as when you look at it through adult eyes, you forgot how tight of a novel that is. And now those characters are, Long John Silver is an incredibly three-dimensional character.
I don't think I've ever read that.
It's definitely worth reading. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know I read it as a child, but I
went back and expecting to be disappointed and expecting, to go, oh my gosh, it's not. It's better because that Long John character is so three-dimensional and he's so real. And at the end, you just
gotta read it.
Just feel for him. Yeah.
I gotta read it. You know what I read recently? I don't know. I'm sort of in this kick of reading classic novels. Was Middlemarch.
I read
Middlemarch
years ago. Yeah.
by George Eliot.
Yeah.
It's like 850 pages, Victorian manners book. But it's if you can get past the anachronisms of, the way they thought about women back then, if you can get past the heavy author voice coming down from the sky and telling you things about that you're reading, if you get past that, it's really a very, very good book. So if you get a chance to read that, it's you talk about deep characters, 850 pages, and it goes back and forth between these, different relationships and different marriages, disastrous marriages, arranged marriage. Yeah, it's really interesting. Good, I enjoyed it. But Tara, you read that today, you'd probably say, I can cut out a half of this stuff. I had a good editor. And it's true.
Like, sometimes there are some books that, what did I read recently? I don't remember what it was. Something that, I don't remember if we read it for book club or what, but we read something in the past year or two. And I was going, oh my God, like this clearly, a decent editor would have gotten this down to like 250 pages. Yeah. Like, why was it 900? I just don't, hey, I love a good long book, but sometimes it's just, there's no reason for it.
Painful. Well, then you put it down and go on to something else.
I've got other things to do,
Yeah, no, life's short.
Want to talk questions, or are we doing all right on our own?
I think we're good. Mo, where do you live?
I'm in Bayonne.
New Jersey.
Long Island.
Jersey. I'm sorry. New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Jersey.
So she's by me.
Yeah.
I was going to say, another New Jerseyite here.
Yeah, I just put in I just went into Facebook and put the title of the book in. I thought maybe there was something, people talking about it. So this is a little bit different than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we thought we were going to be kinder.
I was like, oh yeah. No, that's
Well, everybody else loved it. It's only us who didn't like it ever.
No, it's,
Well, actually, I don't know if my mom liked it or not because mom's audio doesn't work and she's not typing anything in chat. Type in the chat, Mom, and let us know if you like the book or not.
All right, well, here's a question. Debbie, are you still on?
I think she went off.
Did she go
she
off?
was,
Yeah.
but I think we lost her from, yeah. Mo, do you know?
She reads I mean, she burns through books like crazy, and you
Does
couldn't
she?
even tell her that she couldn't tell you the last 3 titles that she read. So my question is, if she can tell you the plot of this book, which was probably 8 books she read ago, then that's actually a positive thing. But now she's not here to tell you, so we'll never know.
So she's not with you wherever you're at.
No, I'm in New Hampshire. She's in Delaware.
Gotcha.
We're not getting along. We're just not. It's a trail separation. It's a
we
little
don't need to know this. No.
Yeah, till tomorrow. I'm going on my yeah. We might
All right.
reconcile tomorrow, but
Mom liked the book.
did like the
Oh, I see it there. Yeah, she liked the book. Why? What did you like about it?
What? She doesn't like to talk. She's probably getting pissed.
So, Mo, do you probably know nothing about? Do you know nothing about Tara and
I know
Square Books?
no, absolutely nothing.
Oh, Tara, why don't you why don't you just mention about your book, your publishing house, what you do?
Well, we're a very, very small press. We just published our 8th book. And our specialty is books that make you think. So, and in fact, if you go on Facebook, if you click on the Blydyn Square link, you'll see all kinds of stuff about it. But we decided to do this book club just to kind of engage with people and try to, obviously we can't just talk about our books. So, because, well, we'd run out of them pretty quickly.
So why did you select this book to have a talk about?
We actually put up a poll when we decided to we had done the book club, 2 or 3 years ago for a few months.
Yeah.
And this was before we had the video option. So we would just be doing it on Facebook, just typing in the chat, and it really wasn't very good. But now that we all have Zoom and everything, we figured, let's try it again. Maybe it'll be a little bit more fun. So we did a poll, I guess a little over a month ago. And I guess you asked some friends what they thought would be good books because nobody had read anything new recently. So and this was the one that won.
Yeah.
Now you have a poll out for next month,
poll,
right?
I posted the poll in the chat if anybody wants to go on and vote. And it's up here.
Where'd you get those books from, Tara?
I decided I wanted to do a book that was either about vacation or about summer or like taking place in like a tropical vacation kind of spot. Just because it's going to be August, like let's do something summery. So I went online and I typed in like the best book club books that are like vacation or summer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on and found like 5 or whatever that I had never read because I wanted to be new for everybody, or at least as many of us as possible. So.
Did you read any of the reviews before you selected them?
What?
Did you read any of the reviews before you?
Yeah, I tried to make sure they seemed like popular, reasonably. So.
I'm gonna check them all out and see.
Yeah. Feel free to definitely vote because I have no idea. I literally found a list that was like the top 10 summer reads or like summer vacation, books set in a summer locale or whatever like that. So, and then I went through Amazon and like some of them were just some of them were actual like travel guides, and obviously that would just kind of just be depressing right now when we're mostly stuck at home, although not you, Everett, but the rest of us don't want to read the travel guide to Fiji or anything probably. So, I just tried to find the ones that were novels and seemed like they might
because the Jack Daniels Motor Lodge in Blenheim, New Hampshire is just like Fiji.
It's called the Jack Daniels Motor Lodge?
Yeah, the Jack. Yeah, that's the only place we. Yeah,
You have to take a picture of that sign and post it.
Oh yeah.
That is-
Well, it's.
that's
I'll
too
tell
crazy.
you what. This says it all. Hold on. This says it all. You ready?
You couldn't write a
Ready.
hotel named that.
Kind of-
Oh,
It's a hotel key.
I haven't seen one of those in 25 years.
Right. I don't need to say anymore.
It's a motor lodge.
It's a motor lodge. Yep.
They don't make them like that anymore.
I stayed in one in 1962, and
I think this is the same one. Yeah. It's. Yeah. You have AM and FM on the radio in the
Oh
hotel.
my gosh.
Righty.
Yeah.
Okay.
color TV and air conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah. HBO and
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
they actually have HBO.
probably not.
Do they have? Are there antenna on the?
Yeah. There's aluminum foil on the antenna.
There
So
you
if
go.
I can probably get, something on it.
Hey, have you guys ever read any of the books by Elizabeth Strout?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love her.
I
read everything she's done.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay. So there's another thing we could think about Tara.
Yeah.
I just picked up one of her books. Have you? I don't know, Tara, have you read anything of hers?
I read all of
Or-
hers.
You have?
Yep.
What
And
do
I
you think?
actually reread.
Love her.
You do? Okay. Yeah.
Olive is an interesting character.
Yes.
She really is.
Did you see, Mom? I'm talking as if she can easily respond. She had told me that they had done a mini series on, I guess, HBO, and
Yeah.
she told me that. And of course, my dad canceled HBO, so we don't have it anymore. But it was during a free weekend. Of course, I forgot to go on and watch it while I had the chance. But supposedly, there's a miniseries from Olive Kitteridge. So
Oh, is that right? Okay. I'll look it up. Well, I'm reading her first book, my first book of hers, so I'm enjoying it. She's really
which
very
one are you
good.
reading?
Olive Kitteridge. Yeah.
Well, then read the sequel when you're done.
Which is which one?
It just came out this year. Was it Olive again? Olive again?
Olive, yeah,
Olive again.
yeah. And her other books kind of fit in right with that same, not just writing style, but that sort of small characters, which I felt had a lot of depth to them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, she's
I
very
forgot about
good.
her. Yeah, she's really good.
She's very good. What about Alice Munro? Have you
I
read her?
read something of hers years and years ago, but I haven't, and I can't remember.
Oh, she is so good.
what it is.
She is. I think she's the master in my humble opinion of
What
short
has she
stories.
written that I would know? I can't.
Oh my
think of anything
gosh.
off the top of
She has written so many fantastic. It's all short stories.
my head. I don't like short stories. I
I
just don't.
think you might like. Well, I don't know.
I just don't. I don't like it as a format because to me, what I like about fiction is the characters, and no short story is long enough to really, for me, create a character deeply enough for me to care about them. You know what I mean? Like to me, I need 250 pages minimum to really care about the character.
Well, the thing about her stories is that, much like Elizabeth Strauss are all pretty much short stories, all kind of linked together.
Sort of, yeah, but they, I like the way she does it. It's like they're short stories, but they're not because they overlap and they interweave. So you're still in that same mindset. You know what I mean? And that's so rare. Like I've read a couple of short story collections recently, and there's like if they overlapped and did weave together so it made a cohesive whole, I think I would like them better. If the characters kept reappearing like they do in Elizabeth Strout. They, like Olive Kitteridge is always there. She shows up in different books, and so that's what it is. I mean, I can't, you care about the character. I don't know. That's just me, but
I think the two great books of hers that I've read are collections of short stories. It's called A Wilderness Station and The Love of a Good Woman. So I just think she's a master. She really is a master. But anyway, yeah. Runaway is another good one.
I know I read something by her, but I can't remember what.
Yeah.
It was a long time. I think I was still living in New Jersey the first time. So,
Okay.
and then I was gone for 12 years. So it's been a while. So what else? What
Okay,
else?
well, anything else about the book you want to talk about, or are we?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, definitely moved you through it. It's a very quick read.
Yeah, I read it fast. I mean,
Yeah.
and except toward the end when I was scribbling in the margins going, why? How can this be? Like, oh, I shouldn't be allowed to have a pencil when I read.
And you know what, not to beat this thing to death, but the one thing that did bother me, I love when you have titles that you don't understand what the title is until you get in that, in deep. They mentioned this title like 600 times.
I know. And like my feeling on that was, I even wrote it down on my notes. To mention it once is good because it makes you feel like
Right.
you're in on the joke. To mention it twice makes the reader think you forgot that you mentioned it before.
Right.
To mention it 3 times means you think we're morons.
Okay, but to mention it twice in the same paragraph means that you think we're total idiots because you just forget something that you just wrote 2 sentences before this.
I mean, to me, that's how I felt. I felt, and I don't blame the author, I blame the editor. I feel like they think I'm stupid, that I'm not going to see these problems. And that makes me feel insulted.
But
And it makes me feel mad that I paid for this book because they didn't go through the job of actually developing it.
But
So
Jim brought up a really good point. I mean, if you boil this down to what are the saleable items, here's the bullet that is the poor weak woman that is attacked by the evil men and she getting back, or is it the Southern bullet, or is it this? The publisher obviously bet on one of those to say, here's our book that we're going to bet. Here's your 50 grand. Be on your book club. There's something that they believed would do it, and there's something obviously that the book buying public was attracted to. But I don't know if you're ever going to figure that out.
Well, that's a secret sauce right there. If you can figure that out, that's what's going to sell tons of books and make you rich, Tara.
Yeah, but I don't want to dumb it down that much. I don't want to. I mean, even if I had the $100,000, whatever it costs to get into the these cheesy celebrity book clubs, I don't want to have to create. I don't want to have to sell people something that is beneath them. I want people to feel smarter when they read, not dumber. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how to express it without making it sound like I think people, like I don't think that you're a moron if you like the book. I feel like the publisher thinks that we're all morons, and they don't care enough to close up these plot holes. I'm sorry, a girl who doesn't have a phone, who doesn't have mail, who doesn't have a computer, has no way of contacting this guy, can't set him up for a specific time on a specific date so her alibi works. She can't do it. It's physically impossible.
Well, how about a girl that doesn't read but yet pulls up a feather and says, "Oh, this is the northeast bill feather of the
in Latin." She not only knows the English, she knows the Latin. Yeah. Right. I feel like they don't think much of us, and they don't feel like they need, and they feel like, people are stupid, so we're not going to bother developing the books. It's good enough for them. And I feel like it's what they're giving us is the equivalent of if you were to walk into a bakery and say, I need, a dozen chocolate chip cookies, and they gave you some raw cookie dough. And so here you go. They're not giving us the full product. They're giving us the raw dough, but they're not creating a book. They're not giving us cookies. And that makes me very angry.
That's the title of your next writing book. They're not giving us cookies. That's your what's wrong?
That's a great idea.
They're not giving us cookies.
Your
what's wrong with publishing?
I did. I put it in. It's going in. It's in the newsletter for I think August. That's in part of the. I was telling you, Jim, earlier about that.
Yeah.
You remember the whole thing we were talking about, Everett, the time that we had the 3 of us had lunch, and we were talking about like how publishers think you're an idiot, and we were going to do this whole thing. Well, just to kind of slowly start doing that for the August, I think it's August, the newsletter for Blydyn Square, I did a little piece about that. And I think I did put the whole thing about the cookie dough, because that's how I feel. I mean, they're giving us raw dough instead of baked cookies.
Mhm.
And it's very easy to bake cookies, is my point. You know, I mean, it ain't rocket science. It's editing the book, you know, and that's someone, Tara Singh, whatever, is being paid a lot of money. I'm sure a lot more money than I'm making, than, you know, she's making to edit this book, and then did zero and gets acknowledged for the hard work.
You know, not to beat this thing to death, but have you gone on the Amazon page for this and looked at the negative? Is anyone else saying this stuff?
I doubt it. Let me look here.
Or are they all just saying they loved it?
They're all. La, la, la. I should share my screen. 51,981 reviews.
51,000.
That's a lot of reviews.
Here, okay, only 2% 1 star, 85% 5 star. So that just shows you right there what we're dealing with. And then it's 9% 4, 3% 3, 1% 2, and 2% 1. I'm just curious to see what they think here. Too unrealistic to enjoy.
Okay.
I was very disappointed in this
100%.
book after reading all the hype about it. While the reading is good, the story is so nonsensical. A 6-year-old left alone in a shack raises herself, living in the same shack, using the same boat, and no one lifts a hand to help her.
Right.
To me, that's not the point. The point is that how is that boat still functioning after 20-some years without?
Yeah, and
with
your
a 6-year-old.
your mother couldn't start the motor, but you can at 7. Yes.
Yeah. She's got long hair that she says is ratty and tangled, but descriptions of it has it down her back, luxurious. She's gorgeous, but bathing is optional until her 20s. She
Right.
has sex with a philanderer, but never gets a VD, and not once apparently does she get sick. No flu, cold, nothing. She never got shots and apparently has the immune system of a superhero because she stepped on a nail and never
You
got
stepped on a
tetanus.
nail, right?
Yeah, because she stuck it in the mud. Yeah.
I kept reading so I'd finish, and the ending is unexpected, but it's generally a boring book where day after day she's alone in the marsh.
Mm.
Oh, here, and most irritating book I've read in a long time is the next one. Did I read the same book as others?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So I mean, okay, so some people do agree with us, but not many.
Not me.
No.
Oh, well.
I switched over to the reviews that gave it 5 stars.
Oh yeah, read one.
Yeah, so this is the second one. This is one of the most moving, caring, emotional novels I've ever read. I read this book only because I met Delia and read her wildlife books. So
Well, there was a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure if the author was my buddy, I'd be saying nice things too.
Right.
to say wow, you know. I think I gave it a good review. I don't know if I gave it 5 star. I don't give it anything. I mean, rarely. I always feel there's room for improvement, but
Right. Yeah, to me, I only give 5 stars if not only it was for me somehow life-changing, and the author needs to be dead. So that means for me, I'm just saying, I feel like 5 stars, 4 stars is a life-changing book. Like, so good, it really
Why does the
changed
author
life.
have to be dead?
5 stars means that it's not only life-changing and amazing, but it has held up over time. It has to be timeless to get 5
So
stars.
if you're ready to give an author 4 and he shoots himself right before, it goes to a 5?
It's a 5.
No, it has to be, I feel like it has to be, the author has to be dead at least, say, 50 to 100 years.
Oh my gosh. How many books like that are going to be out on?
Rule of a 5-star review I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you've only been dead 16 years, so it's going to be a 4.
No, you're not happening. You know, I think it needs to stand the test of generations. I mean, 5 stars really has to mean something, especially now. Like if you go on Goodreads, excuse me, they don't really allow you to say you don't like a book. Like, not 1 star is it didn't like it. That's it. 1 star is hated it, couldn't stand it, couldn't finish it. 2 stars is didn't like it. 3 stars this is the correct way. 3 stars should be it was okay. 4 stars is it was really good, and 5 stars is it was life-changing and the author is dead. But Goodreads is one, I didn't really care for it.
Life-changing and the
Two was
others.
it's okay. Three is I really. Three is I
love
liked
that.
it. Four is I loved it, and five is it was amazing. So
I think you need a 6-star, and the 5 is life-changing, 6 is life-changing, and they're dead.
exactly.
I think you need to move it to a 6. Yeah.
All right.
Oh my
So
God.
there are authors right now that are watching that are just hoping
That's
to
right.
die soon, so you can change your review and change them to a 4 to a 5.
They better die fast if they want their 5 stars, because I've only got so long myself.
So,
You
so
know?
Ernest Hemingway is okay for you because he died in 1961.
Yeah,
So-
so that's good. She hates
Except I
Hemingway.
don't like
And he
him.
shot himself.
She hates Hemingway. Yeah.
If I liked his books, he'd be qualified for 5 stars. But I don't actually like his
What is wrong with
writing.
you?
God, you're tough.
Oh gosh.
Well, that's a good thing to be when you're an editor. I mean, I need to be
right.
tough to spot the
But
bad
it's
things.
tough when you're dead, though. I mean, if you're dead, that's
Yeah, he's
tough
dead
from an
long
editor.
enough. He just sucks as a writer. That's the only
Well,
problem.
there you go. I just,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. What can you do?
The problem with a dead person, Tara, is they're not going to be able to, rework their books
No.
for you.
And that really bothers me too. Sometimes, like, I was just reading. Clearly, what had happened was I had ordered this. It was an Edith Wharton book, and I ordered it from Amazon. And apparently, what people are now doing is taking the ebook and just printing it with no editing. And apparently, they're scanning it. So there's a lot of mistakes because sometimes like the scanner can't tell the difference between like a U and an N and an R, or, whatever. So they were like, I'm reading this book on, oh my God, I know Edith Wharton didn't make these mistakes because it just doesn't make any sense. And then I realized what had happened was they just scanned this, and it just makes me want to go through and edit old books because or even on, I don't remember what book I was reading, but I found typos in like 100-year-old book. And I'm like, how did nobody fix this in 100 years? Whose dog is barking?
That's my dog, sorry.
Okay, no. Well, my dog is asleep.
I gotta go take him out, so
All
I
right.
gotta run, guys.
All right.
It's just fun
All
discussing
right.
books with you.
This was fun.
Don't forget to vote for a book for
I
next
think
month.
I did, but I'll make sure.
Okay, because I want to announce it on Saturday. So
Thanks.
Okay, great. Nice meeting you,
All
Mo.
right. Nice talking to
nice
you
to
guys.
meet you.
Guys.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
All right,
Once again
bye.
soon.
Have a good
Yeah, bye.
night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.